I am Angelo Gisante, a park ranger at Hiwassee Ocoee State Park, and I have been doing maintenance on the Harrison Bay Eagle Cam for the past 6 years. In the past, we've tried a couple of attempts to video what we've been doing and whatnot, but the technology and just my inability to adapt limited me from being able to show you guys a video of what I do. So I thought I'd take some time to show you guys what all goes into maintaining this camera, putting the camera up, and all that development. As you can see here, I'm climbing this tree. What I'm using is a common arborist technique. The red rope is called a prusik. It's a loop that wraps around and it uses a friction hitch. So when my weight is on it, it tightens up, which allows me to be still and take my hands off the rope and relax. But as I pull down on it, it releases the tension, or push up on it, it releases the tension when my weight's off, which allows me to climb up. Now that rope, the blue rope, is actually wrapped around a branch that's approximately 90 feet off the ground. So basically the way it works is I pull down on one end of the rope, the other end that's attached to me pulls me up. On my foot I have an ascender, and in just a little while you'll see it. It basically allows me to lift my foot up and push down with my leg, and the ascender tightens up, which allows me to use my leg to lift myself up instead of my arms the entire time. The first time we got here and did this, the manager, Don, said, I want you to come up and help, but the tree's really high. And to me, people think a tree is really high at 30 or 40 feet. So when I got there and saw that the lowest branch was around 90 feet, I was absolutely amazed. All right, so here I am at the lowest branch, trying to make my way around. This is kind of the more like athletic part, because you've kind of got to be able to flip your body up and pull yourself around. It takes a little bit more upper body strength than just the pulling up part. That's actually a lot easier than you think, because you use your legs more. You can see the view is getting a little bit better. It's I'm obviously a lot higher than when we started this journey. Climbing up on one of the branches. You see the little golf carts down there. That shows just how high I really am. This is the good view that the bald eagles have. This is why they chose the place. It's a nice, comfy, good view. That green thing at the bottom is my foot ascender. I'm going to take it off, because while it does help me get up, it gets in the way when I'm climbing around in the tree. Those things are remarkably overpriced, and so very fortunate to have one. All right, so we've made this climb a bunch. We've gotten smart enough. The first few times we didn't leave a way to get the rope back in the tree, and so my first hour of being there was attempting to throw a little bean bag with a rope over that branch to pull up the big blue rope. But now we have like a landscaping line that we use that we've left up there for the past several years, and it works great because we just attach it and pull it up. Saves us a lot of time when we get there. That red rope that I just threw over, that connects to my harness. It's basically just a safety rope, so that way I'm never unhooked while I'm in the tree. So that way if I ever fall or something ever happens, I at all times have a rope that will catch me and not let me fall. It's interesting, after 6 years, you really get the technique down. You learn the branches that are easier to climb around on. I have a set way that I get up every time, basically just because of trial and error, and I've learned that it's easier. So, as you can see, you have to really have faith in your equipment, because you're literally hanging 90 feet above the ground at this point, maybe 95. Currently, I'm taking that blue rope and throwing it up to a higher branch to help me ascend even further into the tree. What you're looking at, that big ball, is actually the eagle's nest. So we are almost there. I've got to get that blue rope around something to enable me to finish up my climb. All right, so blue rope in. Now I got to get inside of the nest. I try to be diligent about not messing up the nest too much because you can tell that they notice. Like when I get in there and do the work, you can tell that like Eloise especially will get in there after I've been there and like re-straighten up all the branches that I moved around and scooched. But eagles don't have a really pronounced sense of smell, so it's not my smell that bothers them, which is nice. They just don't like people getting in there and moving around the furniture, which I don't blame them. I completely understand. I would be weirded out if someone came in my house and moved the furniture too, especially if my house was 110 feet off the ground. So just a little bit more work getting in that tree. And the first time I did this, I was so worried about like touching the nest. I was like, I'll fall through that thing and then plummet to my death, or I don't want to mess it up and then not come back, or, but after years of doing this, I've learned that you can just sit right in that nest. It'll hold you up just fine. And Paul may or may not have video of me asleep while they were doing camera problems from several years back. So while I was waiting for them to fix it, I may or may not have fallen asleep. So, that's the beautiful view once again. It's interesting too, when it's windy out there, that tree can sway, 2-3 feet, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're, 90 feet off the ground and you're swaying that far, it's intimidating. You keep, saying, come on, little tree, let's just stay together. You've been up here for so long. There's no need to do anything different now. That down there at the bottom is Paul. He's rigging some equipment up for me to pull up. All right, so you see my hands at the bottom. I'm actually pulling it up. So everything that gets done has to be done by hand. There's no real fast way to do it. I have a backpack that I carry with me. Paul loads all the tools in the backpack. I pull the backpack all the way up. If we have too many tools for one backpack load, I lower the rope all the way down, pull the rope all the way back up with more tools in the backpack. And then over the years, I've also developed a method of hanging the backpack and tools around on nearby branches so that I have a shop to work with and don't clutter up the nest too much. Those boxes that you're looking at on the side, those are where we keep all the electronics dry. The camera is waterproof, but the connections are not. The microphone is waterproof, but the connections are not. So we have a junction box that we seal up that keeps everything from getting wet and, keeps everything running. And what I'm going to be doing today in a little while is replacing a microphone. I'm going to be adding a new microphone and replacing the wiring on the other one because squirrels tend to chew on things, and somewhere on this line, something is chewed through the microphone line. So as opposed to me spending all day wandering around trying to find that wire, it's just a lot easier and cheaper man-hour wise to just, run another reel of line down and rewire the microphone. So that's the camera. There's the backpack hanging up there. That's kind of my system that I've gotten going on there now. It's an old military pack, but it does really well for what I needed to do here as well. What you're looking at, that ball is the camera. The box is, once again, where all the energy is. That wire I'm clipping is the old wire from the microphone. The microphone is under the box, and that little other camera looking thing is actually the infrared light. So all that does is shine the light. So when you look at the camera at night, the camera can see infrared, and all that one that's closest to us is like an infrared flashlight. It's a lot of weird positioning to get comfortable and figure out just exactly where you need to be to work on this stuff, because you are working in a high environment and you're in a tree, so there's not a lot of room. It's funny too, the first time I got climbing in the nest, there were actually, when I was walking down there, I tripped over a turtle shell, kicked it out of the way, saw two more, and I thought, what is this, where turtles go to die? Well, when I climbed all the way up into the top of the nest, I realized exactly what was going on, is that the eagles had been capturing turtles, bringing them up there and eating them, and then they were just kicking the shells out of the nest. So that was pretty cool. That was my first real, idea of how much I had to learn about eagles and the nests, and, these creatures are amazing. You may or may not be aware, but it's a felony to even have in your possession an eagle feather unless you're a Native American and you have a permit for it. So to be able to climb up in an eagle's nest and do work is a huge privilege. So right now what I'm doing is, we've had some complaints that the view isn't very good, and that this branch is in the way, and that they think it might help the birds to be able to fly in easier. So I'm having to kind of lean out on these two branches and cut that one branch down. I have a really good handsaw for that, which is super helpful. But that just shows you how far down that is. That's a long drop. What you can see in the back, may or maybe not, is a Sequoia nuclear plant. You can see the towers from the tree. All right, so I've done the maintenance. I've cleaned the camera. I've replaced the microphones. So now I'm making my way back down. I use that Prusik loop again to help lower me. And on my way down, I have to clean up these wires that are coming down, remove some old ones that we're not using anymore, and attach some new ones as we go. Paul and I really got a kick out of just how many different times we've done this, how many different ways we've done this. So it's pretty neat to see us. The system we have now is simpler, easier, and works better than the one that we had a few times in the past. I remember him spending a lot of time with me on the phone or on a radio. You need to plug this in. Try this instead. It's not working. Let's go for this. So we spent a lot of years together experimenting with this stuff. Paul's pretty sharp. He runs a great golf course. It's absolutely beautiful. He's faced a lot of challenges, and Paul kind of jokes that no matter where he goes, everybody goes, "You're the guy with the eagle." And he's like, "Yes, I also run a golf course, but yes, I'm the guy with the eagle cam." So this is me just kind of trimming up these wires and making my way back down. I just figured you guys would enjoy seeing the view as I make my way back down. The view up and down, just, kind of gives you a first person perspective as to what all goes into this. This is me resetting my rope so that I can make the big final drop down. See the red? I'm still hooked in. I'm not going to ever be unhooked or I could be in danger. Those little things down there are golfers, if you didn't already know. So. And that's the part that really you have to involve trust, because at this part, I'm hanging off completely, trusting that I tied the knot right, that everything's hooked up right, because after this, it's just 87 feet down. So. And I've edited out a lot of little clips of me just continually attaching zip ties down to keep all the wires together and looking nice. overall, after being a ranger for this is my 10th year, and having done this for 6 of those 10 years, I have to say this is one of the highlights of my career. I absolutely love being a part of this. I love to watch those birds and see them as the eaglets develop, and I love that other people can do that. And I'm just humbled to be a part of that. I think it's just absolutely awesome. Whenever Paul calls, there's not a bit of hesitation. I absolutely can't wait to get back up there and take advantage of that opportunity, because it is something not to take for granted. I may never do this again once this eagle's nest runs its cycle. I may never, ever do this again. So I'm glad that I've tried to preserve this video so you guys can watch and kind of see what all happened. And, those of you who enjoyed it and loved it and look at this every day, you could, get to kind of have an appreciation for kind of the behind the scenes and how it all came together. The other thing about the Prusik, the negative, is it's a rope on a rope. So you can't just go zzz and just let yourself down really fast, or it'll melt the rope and then you'll go down really fast. Closing in on the last little bit. I have made it safely. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch the video. That's Paul walking to me.